South Florida, the land of perpetual sunshine, sizzling nightlife, and beaches as far as the eye can see. But lately, it seems like paradise is losing some of its shine. More and more Floridians are packing up and heading north. Why? Let's dive into the top 5 reasons behind the Florida Shuffle. Hi there, Kim Devlin here, your key to St. Augustine, Florida. I have been working with many people relocating to Northeast Florida from states like New York, Ohio, Illinois, and California. But did you know that I also assist many people relocating from within Florida too? Yep, many home buyers looking in Northeast Florida are moving from South Florida, and I'm going to tell you why. The number one reason I hear from my buyers is that the heat is unbearable. Do you ever feel like you're living in a sauna? Well, you're not alone. I had a few clients recently living in the Boca area, and they all said the same thing. They can't handle the heat anymore. Here's the scorching truth. While Miami's average summer high is a sweltering 89 degrees, Jacksonville in Northeast Florida is, wait for it, 91. But wait, that's hotter. True, but here's the kicker. It's all about the humidity and heat index. In South Florida, that 89 degrees often feels like 105 due to the humidity. Meanwhile, Jacksonville's 91 typically feels like, well, 91. It's the difference between it's hot out and I'm sweating to I think I'm melting. I remember visiting family in Lauderdale in July when I was still living in New York. I was excited to be in Florida, and one particular day we were all sitting inside and the sun was shining. So I said, let's go for a walk. I opened the door and immediately shut it. The humidity was oppressive. I was like, oh, okay, this is why we sit inside in the summer. So I totally understand why a lot of my home buyers are moving north from South Florida. The second reason is hurricane fatigue. It is a real thing. Every year, it's the same cycle. Stock up on supplies, board up your windows, pray the storm doesn't hit, and then deal with the aftermath. A family I worked with in Naples had enough after Milton. They said, we can't keep doing this every year. It's exhausting and expensive. They came up to Northeast Florida and we found them a house in Plantation Bay in Ormond. Now I know what you're saying, it's Florida. The whole state is at risk of hurricanes. And yes, that is true. But I also remember when Gloria blew through Long Island in New York and Irene damaged my boat in Rhode Island. So you could say that the whole East Coast is at risk as well. But here's the thing, there are certain areas that are at higher risk, like South Florida. And it seems like the Gulf has been dealing with the brunt of it these last few years. So let's put this into context for you. Based on data from NOAA reports, over 120 hurricanes have been recorded in Florida since 1851, with 41 being classified as major hurricanes, category 3 or higher. Since 1851, South Florida has been hit by 33 major hurricanes. Southwest Florida 17 times and Southeast Florida 16 times. Northeast Florida, just 5, with Charlie being the worst in 1928. It was a category 5 with sustained wind speeds up to 161 miles per hour and gusts of up to 206. That's a pretty scary storm. So yes, Florida as a whole is at risk, but South Florida historically feels the brunt of Mother Nature during hurricane season, and Northeast Florida sees fewer direct hits. That means less stress, fewer insurance claims, and way less time spent waiting in line for plywood. The third reason is insurance. The homeowner's insurance costs are out of control. Now, I know we've discussed insurance and the challenges Florida has faced, and this is a reason many people are actually avoiding Florida. But in South Florida, the premiums are ridiculous. I had a client living in the Palm Beach area. They decided to move north to St. Augustine. They had to sell their home in West Palm. And once they were under contract, we found them a brand new home in St. Augustine City District that sits a block away from the Intercoastal Waterway. They were shopping for insurance for their new home and was so surprised to find out that their premium for a $900,000 brand new home was $1,800 for the year. In West Palm Beach, they were paying $15,000 and they were a few miles from the coast. That's pretty crazy. In 2025, the average home insurance premium in Palm Beach for a $300,000 dwelling is $8,084. In Fort Lauderdale, the average is $7,935. To put that in perspective, in St. Augustine, the average annual cost of homeowners insurance in 2025 can range from $1,641 to $2,456. That's a huge savings. But keep in mind, insurance is going to vary based on the year of the home, the roof, the plumbing, proximity to the coast. So watch my video on insurance right here to learn more, and I'll share them in the description below as well. The fourth reason people are leaving South Florida is overcrowding and traffic. Now, I know a lot of people, especially the locals, are complaining about the traffic here in St. Augustine, but it's way worse in South Florida. Have you ever spent an hour trying to move 1 mile on I-95? I have. I mean, come on, I'm from New York. One of my clients, a young professional, told me I spent more time in traffic in Miami than with my family. I knew something had to change, so they moved to North Florida and settled on Nacatee. He had an office in Jax that he could transfer to, so it worked out perfectly. So now his 20-minute commute is, well, 20 minutes. In South Florida, the average one-way commute in Miami takes 32 minutes. In Jacksonville, just 25. That might not sound like much, but it adds up to an extra hour of your life back every week. That's 52 hours a year. You're not staring at someone's bumper sticker. Imagine what you could do with that time. Learn a language, take up knitting, or just enjoy an extra hour of sleep. In Northeast Florida, your commute might actually end before your podcast does. That's pretty cool. Now, the last reason that people are moving up here is the community feel is changing. Remember when your neighborhood felt like a community, when you knew your neighbors and there was a sense of belonging? Many longtime South Floridians feel like that's disappearing. I had a couple tell me our small town feel is completely gone. It's all strip malls and strangers now. Meanwhile, Northeast Florida still has that close-knit small town charm, whether it's St. Augustine or Fernandina's historic streets, Jacksonville's family-friendly suburbs like Beach Haven or Fleming Island, or St. Johns County's master plan communities like Nacatee and Shearwater that focus on connection. It's good news that people are finding what they've lost in South Florida right here in Northeast Florida. And it's not just a feeling, there are numbers to back it up. Did you know that St. Augustine alone hosts over 450 community events annually? From the Nights of Lights Festival to weekly farmers markets, there's always a chance to connect with your neighbors. It's the difference between living in a place and being part of a community. So where is everyone moving to? If you're thinking about making the move, here are some of the top destinations people are loving in Northeast Florida. Number one is Nacatee. It's a master plan community with water parks, a town center, and family-friendly events. It's perfect for families who want resort-style living with top-rated schools, splash parks, and tons of community activities. In fact, it was ranked the 8th best-selling master plan community in the U.S. in 2024. With over 30 miles of trails, 4 resort-style water parks, it's like living in a vacation destination, minus the tourists and overpriced gift shops, of course. If you love history, St. Augustine has charm, coastal beauty, and a slower pace of life without giving up modern conveniences. As America's oldest city, it offers a unique blend of history and modern living, and that's what people are really drawn to here. The city saw a 15% population growth between 2020 and 2025, with many newcomers citing its charm and quality of life as key factors. It's like living in a European town, but with better Wi-Fi and without the jet lag. Now, if you're looking for affordability near the beach, Palm Coast is growing fast and offers some of the best real estate deals in Florida right now. The median home price in 2025 is $350,000 compared to Miami's eye-watering $580,000. Now that's coastal living at a fraction of the cost. And you could buy a house here and still have enough left over for a boat or, groceries for the year. So what do you think? Is Northeast Florida calling your name? For more on which county in Northeast Florida is most affordable, watch this video right here, because the key to relocating is finding the right spot for you and your budget. Now, if you're ready to make the move, I'd love to help you find your perfect home. So drop a comment below with your questions or just shoot me an email and we can set up a time to chat. I really do appreciate you tuning in, and I will catch you on the next one.